How's it going? Motor City Mining here, coming at you with another remote mining update. This time, we're mining some Litecoin and Dogecoin. Yeah, that's right. So, Goldshell, specifically James, reached out to me to see if I would be interested in a remote session on the Mini Doge 3. So, obviously, I'm going to say yes to that and do a little comparison video for you guys. So, I do, in fact, have a Mini Doge 2 myself. Um, So you can see that, and just switched it over to DX Pool because that's where Shell is doing all these remote sessions for any of their miners. Again, really think it's a cool idea that they're doing that. It I don't know if it's like a thing for everything, but it definitely seems like they're doing more and more of these, especially for people with orders or, in my case, a YouTube content creator. Um, but I also got the Lithium ones because I am a purchaser. So it's a cool idea. I think it'd be really cool if, like, somehow, you know, everyone that bought things from Gold Shell could, like, have a little remote session while they're waiting for their purchases. Um, but that's way above that. Who knows who would get to decide that? But food for thought. Gold Shell. Um, but yeah, so like I said, I am on DX Pool now with my Mini Doge 2, so I did just switch that over. Um, it has been mining on, what do I use for Litecoin, Dogecoin? Oh man, I'm having like a mind blank here. I have been using F2 Pool for my Litecoin, Dogecoin mining. Um, some of that is because my blue miner, blue star, blue miner, whatever it is, L1 only works with F2 Pool. So it's just easier to put any of my miners onto that. But anyway, so I switched the Mini Doge 2 over to DX Pool so I can do a direct comparison over time. It's going to take a little bit to start up here. He gave me the notice on Discord that my time had started. So, shortly after that, I switched over my Mini Doge 2. But um, essentially, we'll be coming back, in 24 hours to check the day averages for hash rate. And then obviously we can look at our profits and then do a little math to figure out how much each one has earned versus the other. And then we can do some, further math with wattages and everything and do like a true direct comparison on the same pool. So same exact, I guess not the same latency because again, I have no idea what the latency from wherever these remote boxes are, but at least it's kind of a direct comparison. Um, I think I had mentioned I did get this Mini Doge 2 some time ago. They had like a flash sale, so I got it for like 2.99, which is not the normal price. But that's why I got it because it was pretty darn cheap. Um, but yeah, so excited to try out the Mini Doge 3. So we'll be back in 24 hours to see how things are going. But right now you can see that both have started off. It looks like my Mini Doge 2 is slightly overperforming. It should be at like 425, 450 if I remember right. And right now it's at 490. And it looks like the Mini Doge 3. I wish that James had put in a working name for me, but that's okay. We just know that it is this one because that's the only other one here. But it looks like it is slightly underperforming, just under the 700 mega hash that it's rated for. So we'll come back in a day, see how things are going. But yeah, super excited to do this little comparison test of the Mini Doge 2 and the Mini Doge 3 for you guys. I did think about putting on my Mini Doge Pro, one of the originals, but honestly, it's just they're so useless at this point. I think they get what, like 205 mega hash at like the same wattage, so it's just not really worth running. Um, okay, it's a little less wattage now that I think about it, but either way, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do it. It's not even a model they have available anymore. Whereas at least you can still buy a Mini Doge 2 or a Mini Doge 3. So I think the direct comparison between the two is a little more important for you guys, since it may determine is the price difference for the Mini Doge 3, how much more you're going to pay, worth it to get the extra efficiency. Maybe we'll do some calculations of ROIs and all that other fun stuff later in this video. So we'll be back in 24 hours and see what our average mega hash rates have been for both of these. All right, so we're back now. It's been a full 24 hours, actually a little more than that, about, you know, 24 and a half hours, which means we got full 24-hour period time. So did a little refresh there just to make sure there's no updates. But you can see our 24 hours averages now for both my Mini Doge 2 and the remote Mini Doge 3. And yeah, as you can see, they're pretty much both right on what they're supposed to be on. Um, you know, the Mini Doge 2 is rated for 420 mega hash, while the Mini Doge 3 is rated at um, 700 mega hash, at least the new version. I think the older version was like 650 or something, but yeah, they bumped it up a little bit, which is nice. So they're both getting exactly what they should. My reject rate's actually surprisingly high on my Mini Doge 2. Well, I'll rephrase that. Not surprisingly high. I have horrible connection to DX pools. Again, I don't typically use DX pool, but I wanted them both to show up here. So I assume that's what's going on here. I should actually bring up the. Let me bring up the dashboard though, just to double check that. So brought up the dashboard here, and you can see my reject rate and hardware errors are very low. So nothing really out of the norm here. So it's definitely just a pool side issue, which again, I believe is just because it's DX pool, and I've never really had a good connection to their um, servers. So at least from my location, we jump into our details here. Again, you can see the 24-hour um, day. There we go. Oh, I guess that no, this is gonna be by a calendar day. So I guess we're gonna have to stay back on this main page. But yeah, everything's pretty much exactly where they both should be. So let's do some math. Um, as you can tell here between the two, so I've been averaging just over 1100 mega hash, specifically, about 1130 mega hash. So in the last day, effectively, the Mini Doge 3 has accounted for, doing my calculations with the 706 mega hash, it counts for about 62% of my hash rate of the 1130, which means, the Mini Doge 2 is effectively accounting for 38% of my hash rate. And therefore that is also true when it comes to profits. So, about 62% of the profits from yesterday here are from the Mini Doge 3, and 38% are from the Mini Doge 2, which is quite the big difference. So, like, if we look at this 11.76 number, that means of that 11.76, pretty much 7.3, about 7.3 of the 11.76 is from the Mini Doge 3 versus my Mini Doge 2. So definitely a huge difference, both on the performance side, like how much revenue they're making. You know, that's pretty much what, almost double what the Mini Doge 2 is making per day. The Mini Doge 2 is making about, just doing some quick math. The Mini Doge 2 is earning about 4.47 cents, not cents, 4.47 Doge a day. So a little more than half, but it's a huge difference. I mean, there's no way around it. The Mini Doge 3 like just knocks the socks off the Mini Doge 2. Um, and at pretty much the same wattage, like, you know, let's look at the wattage here. Let's bring up their website. So on their website, I'm on the Mini Doge 3. You can see that it does 700 mega hash again. We're doing a little bit better than that. At 400 watts. Awesome. That's like almost 2 mega hash per watt. If it was 800 mega hash, it'd be a 2 mega hash per watt, which is just that's pretty darn good, honestly, for a script miner. And really kind of puts it almost on par with the big boy miners like the L7s, efficiency wise. Now, looking at the Mini Doge 2, again, I got it for 299, so that's why I got it. I personally don't think it's worth 399. Again, it was more like, oh, cool, it's $100 off, which on $400, that's a 25% discount. Why not? But yeah, 420 mega hash at 400 watts. So the same exact wattage, which, you know, 400 watts, it's not a ton, like if you just have one of these and it's your only miner in the house, you're not going to notice that it's on. I mean, you're not going to see it on your power bill, really. But yeah, just a crazy amount better though on the efficiency on the Mini Doge 3 because 400. This one's pretty much doing 1 mega hash per watt versus almost 2. So realistically, it's like what is that? Like a 75% increase in efficiency between the two. So you're going to get 75% more rewards for the same wattage. So it's kind of a no-brainer that the Mini Doge 3 is definitely the better buy. At well, just if you're looking purely at yield and efficiency. Now, from a cost perspective, though, that's where it gets a little more debatable. So let's bring up some mining stats. So the Mini Doge 2. All right, let's talk about the Mini Doge 2. Mini Doge 2 costs $400. Okay, I got it for $300. Now at $300 and doing 0.42 gigahash because it's 420 mega hash, I'm getting 52 cents a day. 52 cents. That's that's really not that much at all. So let's say you do that. What 300 divided by just doing math here. 1.2 is 714 day ROI. Oh my gosh! Wow. So like almost 2 years. Uh, again, it was not financial advice, but I bought it because it was $300, $100 off, 25% off, and I think that during the bull run, at the peak, I can probably flip this unit for a decent profit on that side. But from a mining perspective, I don't recommend. At I mean, I just did the math, and it's almost a 2-year ROI. If at the price I got it, 300. So at a $400 cost point, you're talking what, like 400 divided by like 0.42 is what? It's 952-day ROI. Oh my gosh. It's like it's like 2.5, 2 and 3/4 years. I mean, come on. Like, what are you doing? Um, I mean, again, I'm not saying you can't flip it, buy it for 400, sell it for 800. I don't even know what these will go for in the bull run. Honestly, I don't know if there's that much upside. I mean, yeah, it'll probably at least double. You could probably get it for 1,000. During the bull. Not financial advice, but like compared to other things you could spend $400 on right now, and the ROI you'd get on them at the peak in the bull, it's what that's like a 2x in money, a 2.5x in money. There's just better things out there. Again, I did it because I was got it for 300, and so I fully expect to 3-4x my money minimum. But again, not financial advice. But yeah, hopping over to the Mini Doge 3, let's see if it's any better. Like, let's see if this is any better. Oops, wrong button. So the Mini Doge 3 gets 700 mega hash. Okay, so that's a point 0.7. You don't have to put all the zeros. I'm just so you guys understand the zeros here. 0.700 gigahash is the equivalent of 700 megahash. Um, all right, so on that front, the Mini Doge 3 is doing 86 cents a day. Okay, so that's decently better. We bumped up another 30, some odd cents, 35 cents or so. Okay, but look at the cost, $750. 750. If you do that math, it's not very good either. 750 divided by 0.86 is still a very large number. That's 872 days to ROI. Again, this is all assuming the price stays the same. It probably won't. It will probably go up in the bull run, and all this is irrelevant. But I'm just saying, right now, it's really overpriced. I mean, is it a better deal than the Mini Doge 2? Sure. The Mini Doge 2 has an ROI of like, not an ROI, just like, again, none of this is even factoring in power. We're just talking revenue. Mini Doge 2 has a revenue ROI of like 900 and some odd days. The Mini Doge 3 has a revenue ROI of 872 days right now. Again, none of this is factoring in power, which, that point is you're probably not making any money. Um, so do I like these units? Yes and no. I'm at a point where like I've gotten so big that I don't really gravitate towards mini miners much anymore, unless they're like super profitable, like the KS zeros were, or um, the AL box currently is, or something like that. And if you can somehow get those first batches, I guess it's awesome. Um, but like for a big miner, it doesn't really make sense to go this route. Just go buy the big boy, so on and so forth. But as a home miner, and having started as a home miner, I do still appreciate these smaller units. I wish they were priced better, for what they are. But if you have money to blow, and you're not really trying to make a quick buck, and it's like a longer play, and none of this is financial advice, but like you just want to get into mining coins that are not GPU or something, then I do think there is still a market for the mini ASIC miner. I mean, it it does make some coins way more accessible than they would traditionally be. I do think it's good that these miners and manufacturers make them, so that it's not just so much a monopoly, and only the people that can n- have a direct connection to Bitmain and get like a batch of 1000 of whatever the latest Bitmain miner is, um, get to be part of crypto mining. Like it is cool that it makes it a little more accessible. I just wish the price points made a little more sense, especially knowing these don't cost much. Because like, let's be serious, this one's 750, but if I go over to KDE Box 2, which is literally the same shell, pretty much all the same stuff, the only thing different is going to be the actual ASIC chips, and I guess the firmware. But we'll say the firmware is free. I mean, all these units have to come with firmware. So like, you're just talking about the ASIC chips. I doubt the Kadena ASIC chips cost any more to make than a script ASIC chip. So, and they're perfectly fine selling these for 250. I mean, I would guess most of these mini miners probably cost like $100 max for any manufacturer to make. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't profit off them. I mean, there is tons of R&D that goes in each one, so it's not just, they're not trying to just make return off of the actual cost to build the unit. They're trying to make return off their R&D time, and I get that. But if you really are for the people and trying to market towards, home miners, make the ROI and revenue make sense. So, um, whether that's give more performance for the dollar, well, that really is what it is. But if you want to keep the higher price points, like you want to keep 750 as your price point, then make sure it's pumping out way more mega hash. If it's gonna keep the set, this lower mega hash or something, lower the cost. Like, eh, eh, I just wish that that was a little more true. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on though with my Mini Doge 2 versus my Mini Doge 3. Again, I have the Mini Doge 2 because it was cheap, and I think I can flip it in like a year or so. Whereas the Mini Doge 3, I do not have. It's a remote session. Um, I mean, if you're absolutely gonna buy one of these, I do recommend the Mini Doge 3 over it. I mean, obviously the efficiency is way better, almost double the efficiency, which means when it comes to your actual profit, your profit's gonna be a lot higher because less of your revenue is getting eaten up by overhead, um, which is your electrical costs. Um, and also, doing the math, it does have a slightly better ROI at the 750 mark, um, versus the Mini Doge 2. Even at the much lower $400 mark, the Mini Doge 2 is going to have a much higher ROI time. So that's kind of where I'm at for today. I think we'll check back one more time just to make sure these numbers haven't changed much. And then I don't even know how long my remote session is. Probably 48 hours is my guess. Um, but yeah, again, I really do like what Goldshell is doing. I just wish the costs would more align with what these things earn, which right now is very minimal. Um, so yeah, that's what we got for today. I'll be back tomorrow to wrap this up and go from there. All right, so it's now been a couple more days. This session actually, I got to use it pretty long, so that's pretty cool. I think this is 4 days now that it's been running, maybe five. Doing this comparison test of the Mini Doge 2 versus Mini Doge 3, and I can honestly say that it has been very consistent. So my Mini Doge 2, which is rated for 425 mega hash, has consistently been slightly overachieving by like 10 to 20 mega hash depending on the day. Um, and same with the Mini Doge 3, which is this blank one here, as we've discussed, consistently been around 705 to 710 on the mega hash, so slightly above its 700 mega hash rating. So nice to see that, you know, both these miners are getting what they're expected to get over a long period of time. You will see the real time has just dropped on the Mini Doge 3, and that's because James from Goldshell just let me know that he will be turning mine off, so I'm guessing it has just disconnected from the pool. He said he would be doing it in the next couple minutes, a few minutes ago, so I do believe this is why this is dropping at this time. And that's why I kind of decided to do this last check-in to see how things went. But yeah, overall, it's very, very smoothly. I mean, they both did exactly what they're supposed to do. Uh, really not much variation. Like if I go over to, let's go to the main page, you can see it, we pretty much stuck around where we were supposed to the whole time for the combined hash rate for these units. Um, and yeah, it, I really appreciate James giving me the opportunity to test the Mini Doge 3 um, and compare it to my Mini Doge 2. So, so let's jump over to my spreadsheet now and let's do some final comparison thoughts. What one makes the most sense. But as mentioned the other day, honestly, they're both kind of a tough sell at the moment. If you really, really like, if you're paying the full price, the Mini Doge 3 is the better deal, but it still has very long ROI. So, if you believe in the HODL method, again, do your own research, not financial advice. If you believe in the HODL method and believe in Litecoin and Dogecoin long term, all right, that's the better one to buy. There's no doubt about it. You know, um, the efficiency is considerably more. Like a 66% increase in efficiency over the Mini Doge 2. Um, but you know, again, the Mini Doge 2, if you can get a good deal on it, like I did, $100 off, that does cut it down significantly, both on the ROI time and the your- depending on your own personal financial situation, that how approachable these miners are. I mean, the Mini Doge 3 is unfortunately, um, it's not like out of the range of home miners, but it's definitely on the expensive side, especially in the current market conditions. Being right around 750. I really wish that it came in lower. It was lower in its old iteration, which I think was rated 650 mega hash. So when they upped the mega hash, they upped the cost. I think it went up about $50. I think it was like 699 before. Now it's like 749. Um, but I really do wish the cost on these mini doges would come down. Doge, the people's coin. Um, but at the same time, if you believe in it long term and need a small miner and you want it to mine Doge and Litecoin, the Mini Doge 3 is probably the best at the moment. Again, if you can get a good deal on a Mini Doge 2, it kind of makes up for its lack of efficiency. So, like I said, $300 is what I spent instead of the 400, and I'm okay with it. Uh, but do your own research, not financial advice. But yeah, unless there's a good deal on the Mini Doge 2, I would definitely suggest buying the Mini Doge 3 if you are indeed going to move ahead with any of these. Um, so that's all I got for today on my little comparison test between the Mini Doge 2 and the Mini Doge 3. I hope you enjoyed this content. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Love to hear your guys' thoughts, especially on the mini doges from Goldshell. Do you have any? What versions have you had? What are your thoughts on Goldshell in general? I know it can be very contentious on Goldshell. I do wish they would bring back their light miners. I do. Uh, I mean, not that I'm against the box miners, but like the light miners were kind of a cool niche product, right? There's a lot of companies that are now doing the mini box miners and stuff. A couple hundred watts, but like it was cool that you could run what is essentially like a big boy ASIC on standard 120 volt in the US, and not blow your breakers. Like the light series was pretty much always geared towards like 1200 watts, which again, um, you know, that is not true home mining at that point. It's going to create heat. You might want to put it in the garage or something. But it was cool that you could like get kind of a big boy miner, or at least get that efficiency, because at the time a lot of the light units were essentially just less wattage versions of and less chips of the actual best miners at the time for whatever algorithm it was. So you were getting the efficiency of those bigger units just at a workable wattage for home mining. So I do wish that Goldshell would bring back some light miners and some newer generations of them. I think that'd be really cool to see. Maybe we will see a KA light and a AL light. Who knows? Um, no idea on that front, but would be cool. So yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and That's all I got on my comparison between these two doges. Until next time.